The Deer Farming Channel is brought to you in part by Record Rack Deer and Elk Feeds. As a deer hunter, I want to know all I can about America's favorite big game animal. That's why I became a deer farmer. Without deer farms, we lose our greatest resource for research and whitetail management. With them, we gain more knowledge than ever before. Join me as we discover the truth about whitetails and meet those who work every day to preserve this great species for future generations. My name is Keith Warren, and this is Deer and Wildlife Stories. Today, Deer and Wildlife Stories comes to you from the beautiful hills just outside of Logan, Ohio at S&S Whitetails Galore. Now, this deer farm is known for being called the Bone Factory, and today you're going to find out why.
My name is Billy Sage with S&S Whitetails Galore, and we're located right here in Logan, Ohio. People have asked us about our new marketing campaign, The Bone Factory. 20 years ago, we dreamed of a 150-inch deer. Last year, we had multiple 150-inch plus yearlings up to 250 inches. We had Energizer at 603 inches, Southern Express at 482. We believe that we really are the Bone Factory.
Everything about this farm is perfect. I mean, from the moment you come in the gate, it is beautiful. It is well manicured. The fences are perfect. They've got a Deer Guardian misting system. The deer are laying around. They're fat and sassy and giant. The office is wonderful. Their fawn raising facility is over the top clean, and it is just absolutely perfect. And when you go to the pens and you take a look at them, the water is clean. There's fresh feed mixed every single day for these deer. The deer are happy and healthy, and I mean, really and truly, this is the life for a deer, living on a deer farm. Well, tell me when you're rolling so I can act like I'm having fun. Deer farming really is a family affair, and while here, I've gotten to know Billy's father and mother. They come down every summer and kind of enjoy life on the farm, and it's fun just to sit down and be able to get to know them too. The Deer Farming Channel is brought to you in part by New Dart, leading the industry in accuracy. You know, record keeping for any deer farmer is becoming more and more difficult, and trying to keep up with it all the old-fashioned way with a notepad and paper is just impossible. You look at all the deer that Billy has here at the Bone Factory, and their pedigrees are so wide and so deep, and you start thinking about, what can you build? Okay, what can you take on the dam side and the sire side and put together? When you start looking at that, you need to have something to help you be able to I need to have something to help me visualize it. And there's a program on game management software that allows you to put together, it's called Build-A-Deer. It allows you to put together two fictitious deer, if you will, put them together and see what that combined pedigree would look like. I think it's so cool watching these babies interact with the girls. And that's the cool thing about coming to a deer farm. If you've never been to one, I'd recommend coming during the summer when when a lot of the bottle babies are being raised. It's a good time to watch the bonding and watch the animal husbandry and see how they love them. All right, so this is a 1-year-old pen?
Yep, this is the yearling.
Okay, so this is the same pen you had the big boys in last year. You've moved them out to another pen.
That's right.
And these are all yearlings?
Yep. Now, well, there's a couple 2-year-olds that real gentle that I just put in here to calm them, you know, when they was growing out.
Oh my goodness, Billy. They are even better than what I've heard.
Yeah, well, here's the deal. I mean, we breed pedigree. We breed big. Southern Express Energizers produced our best yearlings this year, and that's just
but the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, what's important to point out, we on the show we're always talking about pedigree, and all these deer are registered in the North American Deer Registry. But more than pedigree, I mean, just pedigree isn't it? It's performance.
Oh, you got to have production.
And these deer are producers.
Absolutely.
So they come out of who?
You got, well, we got Express yearlings, Southern Express yearlings, Energizer. There's multiple sires in here, but pretty much this year, Southern Express Energizer. You see them, Keith. I mean, a lot of 24-inch inside spread yearlings out there. 5 or 6 at least. They're all Energizer, Southern Express.
Okay, no. Let's address this. You have started introducing Texas genetics into your bone factory.
That's right.
Okay, and I mean they are blowing up. How do you feel about that mix between northern genetics and some Texas genetics?
Well, at the end of the day, a lot of your Texas genetics, if you go back far enough, they have a little northern in them. Some of them will have an eighth or a quarter or half, and we're 5-6 generations deep in the best stuff in the north. So we had to reach out for an outcross, and heck, man, they're going some monsters in Texas.
And that's the one thing that we're finding that people up north are starting to because we can't ship deer out of Texas. I mean, they're starting to buy semen from Texas deer and bring it up here. But you've got relationships with some of the biggest farms there are in Texas, and I mean, and so you've got some deer that y'all have built together.
That's right.
And so that's just all part of the bone factory, folks. These are giant yearlings, and every one of them has got an outstanding pedigree, and they come from a producer.
That's right.
On the sire side.
Well, at the end of the day, we bred these deer 4 or 5 generations deep. Doubling up max bow, tripling up max bow. Rolex shadow these deer, and I reckon you would say the more things change, the more they stay the same. Even though we've changed and went to introducing some Texas deer, those are also proven pedigrees, deep marketable pedigrees, which kind of keeps it the same even though we changed.
Look at these deer, folks, and 5 years ago it would have been unheard of to have a yearling the size of any of these.
Absolutely.
And now there's a whole pen of great big ones. What do you attribute that to?
Just sticking to a plan, breeding production. If it's proven, it's proven. If you put proven on proven and you stay with a plan. Deer husbandry, I emphasize that enough. Deer husbandry, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, you never let up. They're no different than a child. A child has to have constant attention. These animals have to have the same. And if the guys has got the proven production, they've got the genetics, not growing big deer, then they need to look in the mirror because the problem is them. The common denominator at the bone factory is this, in a nutshell. It's not about a big buck. It's about big bucks. And what I don't mean dollars, I mean consistency in your pen. The number of nice deer. If you're getting the numbers of nice deer, then you're breeding a proven line.
The Deer Farming Channel is brought to you in part by Record Rack Deer and Elk Feeds.
We're the Bone Factory Crew.
All right, so who's in this pen?
Well, you got Energizer, Black Shadow, Southern Express, all the big boys in this pen. A few 2-year-olds. It's hard to tell they're 2-year-olds because they look like 3 or 4-year-olds.
Look at Energizer.
Yeah, he's a monster. I mean, he's just 600 is all I can say every year, and he totes them and sheds them. And Just powerful animal. 400-pound deer, man.
I have seen that deer year after year. I mean, we've got some incredible footage of him, and I think what's cool about Energizer is the fact that he just gets it done every year.
Every year, and it's like I say, his sons this year, bonkers. There's big sons all over the country, but Shadow, Rolex, Maxbo's sister, I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less.
I mean, look at him. I mean, there's some people, I remember 2 years ago, I threw a picture of him on my Facebook page, and people said he wasn't real.
Well, he's real.
Well, he's real. Look at that. And let me tell you something. The size of his body, that's the reason why he can carry that rack the way he does.
Well, and you put him down, he's 35 inches inside, and he's about 4 foot wide outside, so we call him the Gentle Giant.
Wow.
And somebody asked me the other day, you know how gentle is he? And I said, well, he's about a 4-footer wide, that is.
Okay, so other than that, you've got Black Shadow in here?
Yep, Black Shadow, Dynamite, the big 2-year-old with the brows, Southern Express. He's, I said last year, I said, how can he get bigger? I mean,
look at him going out through there.
Unbelievable. Tines 18 to 20 inches. And
that's him running off?
Yeah, that's that big monster.
Oh my gosh. And we've seen him grow up out here too. I mean, that deer was born here, and look at him.
Well, here's the deal. We're fortunate, very fortunate. Shadow is basically, he's the king right now, and Express, I mean, he's the king of Texas, and we standing on this farm is the biggest Shadow son and the biggest Express son, and that's just how we roll.
My gosh. And I want to address something. Ohio is one of those deer-friendly states, deer farmer-friendly states. Y'all have the ability to move deer in and out of the state. We're Texas, Louisiana, Florida. There's a lot of states that have really shut down, unfortunately. But in these different states, one thing I've noticed that there's some regional heavy hitters, and they may be just a heavy, good deer in that one state. But then there's some national heavy hitters.
Right. You
are a national heavy hitter because you have influenced the market in every single state out there. And I think when you're making a decision to buy deer, it's something that as a business model, what you ought to look at, do you want to deal with somebody that has got a deer that's regionally hot, or somebody's got a deer and a reputation that is nationally hot? And so that's the cool thing when you deal with the Bone Factory. I mean, they are a nationally hot breeder. You got some big old deer out here, Billy. This is the Bone Factory, and this is Billy Sage. And Billy, give them a phone number if they want to find out more information about the Bone Factory.
All right. We're in Logan, Ohio. Phone number 740-569-4063.
And I'm going to tell y'all something. If you want to come out here for a farm tour, Billy and Mitzi would love to have you out. They should be very proud of what they have, and they are. And they want to show it off. But don't come out here if you got a heart condition. And if you have a heart condition, make sure and take your heart pills, because you're going to see some deer right here. Well, you're going to see why they call it the Bone Factory. The Deer Farming Channel is brought to you in part by New Dart, leading the industry in accuracy. All right, Billy, who do we have here?
Just got a nice group of really consistent 2- and 3-year-olds, anywhere from that 230, 40 inch up to, one in there's probably 500 inches, but a couple over 400, but just consistent breeding.
Now, if you were to go to any other deer farm in the country, they would take you to this pen first to show you these magnificent deer. I mean, one in there, well, it's clear to see which one is close to 500 inches. I mean, he's just like a mammoth. He's huge. But they all have great pedigrees. Yeah. I guess that's one thing that if you were to take a look, if you were to sit down with somebody in your office, and all they would do is take a look at the pedigrees on these animals. Every one of the pedigrees, folks, is strong as strong can be. And I look at it like this. You can eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Close your eyes and just pick one, and he's stacked right. And it's just, the deer that right here are not his superstars are still superstars for just about anybody else's program that they got.
Yeah, the two there, they're wing brothers, and they're going to knock out 900 inches between them, but, they're Shadow sons, and Shadow's like the craziest producer we've ever had, and but they're competing against Energizer across the lane here, and he's 600 inches and got a little better pedigree. So in today's market, we got to go with a 603-inch buck versus the 500 or the 400, in the same marketplace.
And he mentioned Shadow. Shadow's a deer that I've used on my place to breed, and I've got some nice deer out of him. Shadow is just one of those deer that he just gets the job done. Now Shadow's gone. I mean, Shadow died years ago, but we can take advantage of him in the deer breeding industry by using artificial insemination with semen. And that's the cool thing about a lot of deer. I mean, we get these deer that today, these deer are alive, but maybe 3 or 4 years from now, they may not be alive, but people still want to breed with them. You're going to have semen, aren't you? Right.
And one of the key things with Shadow is you're looking at a 600 across the way, you're looking at a 500 and basically a 400 there. All three of them, they're comfortable carrying their antler spine. Shadow puts the body on the deer, the long loins, big chest, he just builds a buck.
Man, these are unbelievably impressive. I just heard the Deer Guardian kick off too, so the mister's going to take off here in a second. I hear that you have got a buck out of the 2 most famous deer ever, out of Max Bow and Blue 37. His name is H.O. Can you take me to him?
Oh yeah. Now, I don't know if you can take it. It's high output, man.
I can take it. Let's go.
Let's go get him.
Wow, some nice looking deer, but there is no doubt who H.O. is. Look at that one. My gosh.
Yeah, he's a pretty thing.
Tell me about him.
Well, he's out of Max Bow and Blue 37. Max Bow's the grandest sire of all, and then Blue 37, she's the queen of queens. And Shadow was the prettiest 2-year-old I'd ever seen, and doggone, looks like H.O.'s gonna be right on his heels. So he's a monster, and he's gorgeous.
Folks, look at that deer. I mean, that is absolutely beautiful. And bloodline-wise now, I mean, he's perfect. You can't get any better than that.
That's right. He's as good as it gets, kid.
And how old?
He's 3. He's 3. We have 31, 32-inch beams, long tines, and he's got what we call the look with the score, with the mama, with the daddy, equals 105.
That deer right there is the full meal deal right there. That's the full package. He's got it all.
Yeah, we're proud of him.
My gosh.
We named him H.O., and that's our high output, and that's what we're praying for, and I think we got it.
I think you got it. Okay, you got semen on him available?
Yes, sir, we sure do.
Okay. I want to address something. Folks, you wind up, you go to these deer sales, or you can actually get online now, and you can participate in deer sales. You can come to a deer farm and look at deer, but there are partnershis that y'all make. I mean, you have partners. And so if you don't have the pocketbook really to buy the whole deer, you can buy a percentage of it. And there's deer here at the Bone Factory that Billy's partners with people all over the country. And so it may be something that you'd want to give him a call and talk to him about, because like I said, if your pocketbooks aren't deep enough to own the full deer, you may be able to participate in owning part of them, and you could actually leave it here, because that's what a lot of people do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we have some wonderful partnerships.
My gosh, H.O. is the man. On a deer farm, like many things in life, it's the little things that add up to be the big things that make a big difference. And when you come out here to the Bone Factory, they take care of lots of little things. So the big things are pretty easy to see. If you're a deer farmer and you've never been to this part of the country, to Logan, Ohio, you owe it to yourself to come on out to the Bone Factory. And I promise you one thing, you'll be a changed person. I'd like to thank Billy and Mitzi Sage for having us out here, and I'd like to thank you all for watching. And we'll see you next week on Deer and Wildlife Stories.